Another day, another Disney failure is right in front of us, and this time it is Pixar, the once mighty Pixar. There was a time where if Pixar came out with a movie, they didn't even need marketing. They didn't need anything. You just heard the name Pixar and you knew it was going to be a banger. All families knew. Everybody was like, let's go see the new Pixar movie. It's going to be amazing. This was a glorious time of Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Up, Wall-E. I mean, the list goes on and on of incredible Pixar movies. And even when you had a few that weren't quite up to standard, they were still really good. They just weren't as good as the great ones. Pixar means nothing anymore. Pixar means absolutely nothing. They have no power at all. And because of that, now Pixar slashes 14% of workforce. 14% of the workforce. The once mighty Pixar is laying off 14% of its workforce as the Walt Disney Company continues to make brutal budget cuts across its many businesses. Pixar Animation Studio is slashing about 175 jobs, or 14% of its staff, due in large part to Disney Plus reducing the number of series it's putting out, according to a Deadline report. Earlier estimates had the layoffs at about 20% of the staff. The cuts come after Pixar laid off 75 jobs earlier this year, including 2 executives behind the box office flop Lightyear. Now, I know if anybody's been watching this channel for a while, you know how much I hated Lightyear in terms of, first of all, I didn't see it. I'm saying I hated the idea of Lightyear. Then Chris Evans came out and attacked the audience because it had social justice propaganda in it, and the audience didn't want that in there. So Chris Evans, someone who's not a movie star, by the way, not a movie star even remotely close to a movie star. He's great as Captain America. He's phenomenal in that role, and I'll never take that away from him. But outside of that, who cares about what Chris Evans does? Who's going to see a movie because Chris Evans is a star? Nobody, because he's not a movie star. So he should have never been put in the role of Buzz Lightyear, that is Tim Allen's role, but that's neither here nor there. He attacked the audience because the audience said, we don't want this bullshit in our movies. He attacked the audience, turned out to be a massive flop, lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and now people are losing their jobs because Chris Evans, who's not a movie star, couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut. What Chris Evans doesn't understand is that no one really cares about your opinions, Chris Evans. You are an irrelevant piece of garbage. No one cares about you as a person. They care about you pretending to be someone that you're not. That's what movie stars are paid to be. The reason you're paid to be someone else is because no one cares about you. They care about who you can pretend to be. Maybe Mark Hamill needs to learn that lesson. Maybe Mark Ruffalo needs to learn that lesson. But that's the reality of the situation. As we got into the streaming business in a very, very aggressive way, we tried to tell many stories, Iger said in a recent earnings call. Basically, we invested too much, way ahead of possible returns. It's what led to the streaming ending up as a $4 billion loss. We tried to tell too many stories, he added. No, you tried to tell too many bad stories, Bob. Too many bad stories. Disney recently laid off a stunning 7,000 workers globally and more than 3% of its total headcount. Iger said earlier this year that more budget cuts were in the works as the company tries to pull itself out of the recent financial difficulties. Like the rest of Disney, Pixar has embraced woke content, putting out titles like Lightyear and Elemental, which both bombed at the box office. Elemental featured a gender non-binary character who uses they/them pronouns, a fact that Disney kept hidden from the public in the lead up to the movie's release. There you have it right there. So Disney continuing to struggle. And I did see that there was a report when Hollywood Reporter was talking about this. They said that this was the biggest cut in history for Pixar. Now, again, budget cuts are part of business. That is a norm. But when you're actively putting garbage out like Lightyear and like Elemental, when you're actively alienating your audience, when it's a very simple fix, and you still have to make those budget cuts because you support all the garbage that they support, this is why people are highlighting it. Yes, budget cuts are part of business. This happens every day. It's not breaking news, but that's the reality of it. But when you are actively disrespecting your audience on a consistent basis, and you see things like this, and you continue to do that same thing over and over and over again, yeah, you're going to point this out. This is nonsense. Disney deserves everything they're getting right now. This is a company that was built off of a brilliant, genius creative named Walt Disney, and this company does not resemble anything that it was created in. It's not even close to what Walt Disney created, and it is really sad. It's really sad. Of course, Pixar has been going downhill since John Lasseter got fired for Hugs, but that's another discussion for another time. But at the end of the day, Pixar continuing to go downhill. No creative, freedom at Pixar. Only creative garbage, and that's what we're going to continue to get. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.